What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Market Marauder Show. Be the market one trade at a time. Hope everybody's having a great Labor Day out there. Able to lock in some of those profits from last week. Bear in mind that on Labor Day, the market was closed, which you guys have already seen. But on this episode, I'm going to be talking about Bed Bath & Beyond. So it's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks for Bed Bath & Beyond. Overall, the stock has been very volatile. There have been a lot of day traders that have jumped in and out of Bed Bath & Beyond. But just going to do a kind of the rise and fall of Bed Bath & Beyond. So basically, Bed Bath & Beyond last week said they'll be closing many of their stores. Going to be a decline of their workforce. They're going to be closing 150 stores nationwide. At the Bed Bath & Beyond store in South Portland on Friday, there was very little evidence that a parent company might be struggling. There was a now hiring sign that went in front of the window. New Jersey-based home goods retailer said Wednesday it'll close 150 of its 771 stores and lay off 20% of its roughly 32,000 member workforce. The news came as the company reported a 26% decline in sales for the second quarter of 2022. And so that is a pretty bad earnings overall for the company. And so with 26% going down for the company, it definitely was, a huge red flag for a lot of investors. There are a lot of people that kind of jumped out of the stock because of that. After that news, the CEO or the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Gustavo Arnold, said that the closures and staff reductions would save Bed Bath & Beyond about $250 million this year. So looking at it from that point of view, saving $250 million this year from all the layoffs in the store cutbacks would be a pretty positive note moving forward. In addition, the company also planned to raise cash by selling up to 12 million shares of the common stock, according to a filing from the SEC. Sale proceeds would be used for corporate purposes, including paying down corporate debt. And the stock fell and dropped to $12.11 a share after it closed after that news came out. They traded on the ticker sign BBBY, so that's 3 B's and 1 Y. And you can go look them up on any exchange, really. And so on here, if we look at their price movement, we can see around the 16th, they shot up to a high of $30 a share. This is kind of where momentum kind of shifted with the company. We really saw they had a clear direction. They had people that were going to be coming in to help them. But then they kind of had their earnings. And then after their earnings, it just kind of fell down from there, falling all the way to a low of $8.17. And so from $30 to $8.17 is a pretty drastic change, especially already having a 26% decline in their earnings. So you also have, kind of a double-edged sword where you have a lot of stores closing, you're getting rid of 20% of your staff, and then also, you're losing or burning tons of money at the same time. So this is something that they were trying to combat. Later on this week, so this Labor Day weekend, we got some devastating news. The CFO, Gustavo Arnold, died by suicide. So that is definitely, sad news to see how stress can affect people. Different people in different positions experience stress in a lot of different ways. He was 52 years old, fell Friday afternoon from his building in downtown Manhattan, according to police, which was a skyscraper in New York. He fell more than 50 floors. And so definitely want to take this time to, talk about mental health. I think mental health is something that not really many people shed light on. It's something that everyone deals with. Especially, people in really high up positions may deal with more stress than some of those other people. And so that's something, to look at. It was basically 2 days after the announcement of closing 150 stores. So, nobody knows the stress that could have taken. 150 stores, that's a lot of employees. And plus the 20% of the staff would be cut as well. and then more than 500 million in new financing, which will be a loan as well. So it was kind of a very tough financial situation to be in. But as the CFO, you're basically in charge of making that work. So the stress of that situation definitely, you know, was very stressful. So I think, people talk about having a work-life balance is something to be very important. I think that just goes to show you that having a work-life balance, especially when you're in a position like this, is very important. It's not always, sunny or roses when it comes to these, high up corporate jobs. You do get a lot of money, so you probably had a large amount of money to be in a penthouse in downtown New York on the 50th floor, but still the stress of trying to get all these different things happening while also laying so many people off, 20% of the staff, and then 150 stores being closed, which I don't think was factored into the 20% of the staff being laid off. And then having a half or $500 million loan that was going to be added. So you have a $500 million loan that was going to be financed that was basically, behind you yourself being the CFO, and trying to get all of those things to work and line up to build the company back is something very stressful to look at, and something very stressful to think about as well. Overall, I think Bed Bath & Beyond is one that a lot of investors are going to have on their radar for this week, especially considering it's one that was day traded quite heavily. And then having someone like the CFO of a company, a C-suite people or C-suite, people who are in the C-suite of each company are very imperative to having the company move forward and be, very successful. So you have the CEO, CFO, any C-suite people, so chief executive officer, chief financial officer, you have the chief of legal being in the C-suite. So all of these have their own personal roles. You also have the board as well, which is another important thing to look at when doing due diligence. So if you have a good board, that can also help the company as well. Great insight from a lot of people who've been in the industry for a long time can help move a company forward. But all these are important things to look at. I would say keep an eye out on Bed Bath and Beyond. It definitely is sad and tragic news to see someone be lost to especially such tragic means. But I'm definitely interested to see how the market is going to react to this news. Will the stock continue to go down and sell off even more? The lowest that I've seen it has been around $4.54, which could be a low. Losing such a very important player to the company, definitely don't see this rallying anytime soon. So I would personally be looking at that $4.50 level, especially after losing the CFO. I know that's a difficult position to try to fill, especially in such short amount of time with so many things going on. Like I said, you have all those different plans that were already being enacted and starting to be in motion, but the person who is doing it is now no longer here. So I don't think, it's easy to try to fill that gap. Even people internally, it's not going to be able, they're not going to be able to jump in and immediately take over, even if someone is appointed to that position, especially with someone, being lost to such tragic means. You definitely have a large shoes to fill and a bunch of responsibility because it's basically up on you to try to get the company back on its feet, being the CFO or the new CFO of a company that was already in a tough financial position. So definitely going to be looking to see how Bed Bath & Beyond can go moving forward, especially with the money that they have, the $500 million, like I said earlier, the closing of the 150 stores, and the reducing of 20% of its staff. And so when the 20% of staff, I didn't know if that meant corporate or non-corporate, or retail or corporate, meaning if it was their local stores or if it's corporate people being laid off. But definitely very interesting to see how this company will move. And basically all eyes are going to be on this company as the market opens up for tomorrow. So hopefully that information helped you all out. BBBY is always one that's on the watch list on Wall Street Bets. I would consider it one of the top meme stocks up there with GameStop and AMC. BBY is definitely one that a lot of people day trade. They jump in and out of a lot, also with Tesla as well. But definitely very interesting circumstances for this to be the spotlight of a lot of people trading for tomorrow. I know it's going to be in the back pocket of a lot of investors, especially considering how circumstances go on. But I would say with this, any amount of positive news that comes out of this, I would say could be a catalyst for this to shoot back up. Now, will it shoot up to 30? I don't know. But if there's any strategic path forward to try to get this to move with a new CFO, especially if they get a CFO that had a great track record. I think this could definitely help the company move in a positive direction moving forward. So definitely very interesting dynamic. One you really don't see a lot in Wall Street, or you don't see in companies in general. But I think it's something that everyone should be considering when looking at trading for tomorrow. So good luck to you right there trading, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.